Look at this right here. It's the form table for La Liga since match day 24, the weekend of the 16th of February. We have Barcelona, unsurprisingly at the top spot, Real Madrid make an appearance in third place, and then we have number 2, Real Betis. In a surprising turn of events, Betis have beaten the reigning champions Real Madrid and beaten Sevilla, their city rivals, for the first time in 7 years. They are looking incredible. With all this in mind, it's hard to shake the feeling that this string of results has a clear genesis, one specific date that ties it all together. On the 25th of January, 20 games into the season, Betis were in 12th place. That very same day, a flash of light spread through the skies of Seville. A cold shiver inched down the spines of all the doubters in the press. All the attempts at character assassination proved fruitless.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
You knew this video was coming. Okay, obviously, Antony isn't the only reason that Real Betis have hit this incredible form. He's getting all the headlines for obvious reasons, but it goes deeper than that. Today, we're going to look into the revival of not only one of the most attacked players in recent memory, but of a team that were in a very, very awkward situation not too long ago. Hello, hope you're well. Yes you, welcome back. Real Betis entered this season the same way they have done for quite a few years now, off the back of a 5th to 7th place finish in the league. But the club started the year struggling to make things tick. In the first half of the season, goals were very hard to come by. Betis averaged just over 1 goal per game and their form was patchy at best. A loss by 3-1 at home to newly promoted Alaves in mid-January summed it all up. From what I could see, Pellegrini's job has always been safe, so this isn't that kind of story. He's delivered European qualification in each of his seasons since arriving in 2020. Still, Pellegrini himself admitted that the team had difficulties this season. At one point, the 71-year-old Chilean even hinted that he'd one day like to coach his national side before retiring, which is interesting, and of course got people talking. It felt as if Betis were at a bit of a crossroads, stagnate around mid-table or lower from where things were looking, or try to find some sort of spark to get things going again. And listen, it looks like they found that spark, because in that January window, they went through an entire overhaul of their attack, and the impact was immediate. In came Antony on loan from Manchester United, and Colombian striker Cucho Hernandez from the MLS. At the same time, 19-year-old winger Jesus Rodriguez was promoted to the first team, and crucially, Isco, who had been injured for the majority of the first half of the year, was now fit. Usually when people say this sort of thing, they're over-exaggerating a little bit, but truly, almost overnight, Pellegrini and Betis had an entirely new attacking core. The team has doubled their scoring rate to 2.1 goals per game since the end of January. Now, they have 6 wins in a row, their longest run of victories since 2018. Tellingly, they've won every match in which the new front four of Isco, Antony, Jesus, and Cucho all started. 5 out of 5. Isco operates in a free role as a playmaker as he does best. The wingers, Antony on the right and Jesus Rodriguez on the left, provide flair, and Cucho provides a dynamic presence in the front. The man really does attack lines with aggression. He did so immaculately against Sevilla, but we'll get to that later. Johnny Cardoso, Sergi Altimira, and Pablo Fornals are keeping things tight in the middle. In other words, the pieces are all fitting together. These changes yielded big results. Betis went from 12th place to firm Champions League contenders in just over 2 months. As Pellegrini's side started chaining wins together, the narrative around the coach shifted from skepticism to praise. Here's a fun fact for you. That win against Sevilla was Manuel Pellegrini's first win against the rival club since taking charge 5 years ago. Same goes for Real Madrid. It's a testament to how this season has turned around, that long-standing hurdles are being cleared. But like I said, Betis' revival has been a collective effort. I've already mentioned Isco. The 31-year-old has 6 goals and 4 assists in La Liga. Most of them penalties, sure, but that doesn't tell the full story. He was man of the match against Real Madrid, for example. for a reason. Betis have also tightened up defensively. Veteran Mark Butler has been pulling his weight, as has Adrian, the goalkeeper, who stepped in after the rather abrupt departure of Rui Silva. That's him giving Antony a ride just the other day in a picture showcasing the closest thing to friendship between Manchester United and Liverpool. And now, on to the moment that many of you have been waiting for. In the aftermath of the Sevilla game, Pellegrini had some choice words. I'm happy for the team and for Antony, a great player who had gone through a complicated spell. Antony's 18 months with Manchester United so far have unfortunately been worthy of the memes. He scored in each of his first 3 Premier League appearances, but across 96 matches in all competitions, he registered just 12 goals. Pundits did not hold back in their criticism. Paul Scholes famously branded him a one-trick pony. Everyone went ballistic when my boy pulled out the 360 emote, which makes no sense to me. This is what we refer to in scientific circles as innovation. Ultimately, he just wasn't deemed good enough by everyone. By fans, by pundits, by coaches. Ten Hag refused to play him later on. Amorim has been refusing to play him ever since. He's played about 252 minutes across 9 appearances in the entire Amorim era, which is why he went off to another club. £85 million flop is what the streets were saying. The man was in need of a fresh start, and nothing says fresh start more than the sunny streets of Sevilla. A 6-month loan starting in Jan 2025. Villarreal also made an offer for Antony's service, however, Betis won the race. The club also assured United that as long as he was fit and performing, he would play games. Well, this is good for Betis because they get a new weapon. It's good for Manchester United because it either maintains or increases his transfer value, and good for Antony for a lot of reasons, right? It's his career. So I'm going to take some time here to talk about what exactly has made Antony so good for Betis lately. In 12 games for Betis so far, he's recorded 4 goals and 4 assists, exceeding his stats over the last 2 years at United. But let's forget about the stats for just a second and purely talk about what he's been doing on the pitch. He's playing with this renewed sense of freedom that is reminiscent of the Ajax days, of course, where he's allowed to drift across the front line and play where he wants, pop into positions here and there. The same goes for all of that front 4 of Isco, Cucho Hernandez, and Rodriguez. He's displaying a level of drive that we quite frankly haven't seen in England thus far. In a February clash vs Getafe, he presses to win the ball, dribbles past a couple of defenders, and provides Isco with a beautiful assist. In the same game, his clever through ball won Betis a penalty. Now, he did get a red card in this match later on for a late challenge, but it was rescinded. The admin of La Liga's YouTube channel took a look at the metrics and realized that with Real Madrid coming up, this was bad for business. He made a call, and the GOAT redemption arc went on. Across matches, he's consistently creating chances and popping up in these positions. Paul Scholes once called him a one-trick pony. I don't think that's an accurate description anymore. For his first goal, he quickly sorts out his feet and strikes it into the far posts. Later, he finishes a swift counter-attack. He scores laser-accurate volleys. His range in passing and scoring and his ability to improvise is on full display. I must say, when I was making this video and reading up on reactions and what people have said and everything, I was quite surprised to see that a lot of people had just simply been rewriting history in order to form a narrative. The amount of people that was saying that Antony had a reputation for being a lazy winger that didn't track back and didn't help his team out with the press was astounding. As a matter of fact, that is probably the only thing that everybody, or United fans at the very least, unanimously praised him for, his ruthless work ethic. Seeing him do the same thing in Real Betis right now, it's the least surprising thing actually about this form that he's gathered, to me at least. Ruben Amorim and many others have suggested that it was the physicality of the Premier League that was ultimately the undoing of Antony.
When you play against any team here in England, the physicality is there. If you don't have physicality, you struggle a lot. Antony is so much better now in Spain. It's a lot of factors, but I guarantee you it's the physicality.
I think this is a nuanced subject. Physicality can be a number of things. You know, the pace of the game, the pace of the players, the aggression of the players, the actual physical strength of the players, what the referees allow to happen or don't allow to happen, all of those things. And listen, I'm not the best authority to accurately rank all of these criteria on a league-by-league basis, so I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to say or assess whether what Amorim said and other people have said is correct. But I can say, with confidence, is that the biggest change I'm seeing in Antony is his confidence. He's playing with joy. Check out this moment in the Sevilla game. He comes close to scoring an outrageous volley off an Isco corner. You can just see that schoolboy grin on his face as he walks off for the restart. He's pulling off roulettes, flicks, and tricks here and there. Before, when he used to do his 360 emotes, a lot of people complained that he was doing this with no purpose because there was no one around him in those situations. Hard to argue. Right now, all of his tricks, they have purpose, and he's even giving tutorials during training to teach the boys how it's done. And even Antony himself has echoed as much. What I am most happy about is having found myself, and I found myself here. Inside the locker room, Antony is thriving. Isco praised his humility and impact. Joaquin backed his signing, and teammates visibly enjoy his presence. He's often seen dancing and laughing in post-match videos. He's bonded well with the South American contingent. He's being embraced from all angles. It's beautiful to see. However, the irony of this Antony deal is something that's, quite familiar to Betis. His loan deal right now expires at the end of June 2025. His contract with Manchester United still extends for the next 2 years until 2027. Now listen, I'm sure United have been paying attention to the improvement that he's been showing. But Radcliffe has made it clear that there will be a lot of care taken in the contracts that are offered to players in the future, and will be doing what he can to not make the same mistakes of the past. One such mistake is believed to be Antony. From that perspective, I'd imagine that the preferred route involves getting rid of contracts like his entirely. Maybe not like his as much as, his. By the way, you've reached the speculation part of the video, so if you enjoy a bit of waffle, feel free to stick around. Now, Betis, for their part, have indicated they would really like to keep Antony on going beyond this current season. There's already been talk and rumors about a new loan deal being proposed, perhaps one that even includes a loan with obligation to buy. However, that right there, it presents a problem. Real Betis' record transfer record happened 27 years ago. A man by the name of Danielson. At the time, this was not only Betis' record signing, but it was a world record fee. 30 million euros. Antony's current market value as per transfermarkt.com is about 20 million euros. Now, to be fair, transfermarkt.com themselves have said that you shouldn't take their valuations as literal because they require a lot of community input. They pull from similar deals for similar profiles of players with similar amounts of time left on their contracts. But to people like us who don't have access to the detailed contracts and deals that are in place and relationships in place between these players, agents, managers, and all that, it's the best we can do. And taking that into account, with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if that valuation is somewhere within the ballpark where negotiations can probably be had. Having said that, Betis haven't spent that much on a player in about 5 years, when they got Borja Iglesias, Nabil Fekir, and Giovanni Lo Celso all in the same window. United spent more than all of them combined on Antony. 95 million euros less than 2 years ago.
I'm leaving here with something.
They will be trying to recoup as much of that as possible. Isco joked that Betis might need to crowdfund the move. This was not a joke. Their most expensive signing in the last 5 years is Cucho Hernandez for 13 million. However, that signing was made about 2 months ago. So, hope? In terms of salary, there were a lot of conflicting reports. A lot of people claim that when he signed for United, it was on a deal worth about 200k per week, and that's been reduced over time because of no Champions League for United and also, not great performances to about 100k. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to use that figure. For context, that's more or less what Isco earns at Betis right now. And that's a 5-time Champions League and 3-time La Liga champion, by the way, also a native Spaniard. One thing for certain is that with an uncertain future, Betis should just enjoy every second of this as they can, because they know from previous experience, like with Giovanni Lo Celso in the past, these were loan deals, that these deals, they can be fleeting. The best thing they can hope for right now is Champions League qualification, which would free up a lot of money for them and, potentially open up a route towards them getting Antony in the long term or someone else of a similar profile if that deal proves to be out of question. From a personal standpoint, one can't help but feel happy for Antony. Betis and Antony have lifted each other up. Betis provided the stage, and Antony is providing the show. Long live the GOAT.